Beautiful people, what's going on? My name is Adonis, and this is your guide on how to rank up. Recently, I just hit Diamond, and for me, it's huge. I don't come from an FPS background. I wasn't playing Valorant. I wasn't playing Overwatch. I didn't even play Call of Duty. I played a little bit of Fortnite, but the main game that I stream on Twitch is Dead by Daylight. But as of late, I have about 200 freaking hours on Marvel Rivals because it's just that fun. And if you guys want some assistance from a noob like me who also didn't have any FPS background like you, then this is your guide on how to rank up. Number one is going to be different alt audio for both teams. You Overwatch veterans might already know this, but for us who haven't played other games like Overwatch or whatnot, so if let's say you have a Hela on your team and a Hela on the enemy team. So the Hela on the enemy team, when she ults, she's going to say, and when the Hela on your team ults, she's going to say,
A feast for my crows.
a feast for my crows. Keep that in mind. It's such a small little trick in the game. Your supports are saying different alts, right? So Cloak and Dagger, for example, is going to say, so whenever you hear co-op time, stand on the damn blue juice, bro, the purple juice, whatever the hell it is. Stand in her juices. It's so important. So many times teams, your own team will run away from it. So it's just really important to know when it's yours versus when it's the enemy team. Number two is going to be something also very simple, audio for enemy footsteps. I think a lot of people have been getting a lot better with that as well, including myself. All these things I am still learning, by the way. But audio for enemy footsteps, you can in fact hear your own teammates' footsteps. You will actually hear the enemy's footsteps even louder when they're out of your line of sight. So when they're in front of you, you might not hear it that loud. Number three is going to be alt counters. Who the hell is it that counters your ults, right? So let's say I am a Groot and Cloak and Dagger main. So as a Groot and Cloak and Dagger main, I should know every single person that counters my ults and all the ults that I can also counter and how to do it properly, right? So for example, if I'm playing as Groot, the last thing I really want to do, the last person rather, is I don't really want to ult Strange too much, right? If I ult Doctor Strange, he can easily block a lot of my hits with his shield. Even if I get a Groot wall behind him, I still might not be able to fully kill him because of that. So keep that in mind. Magneto can be a tough one too. You can kill them, obviously, just have to do it at the right times. You also don't want to do it when Loki has his shift ability, when Luna and Mantis haven't ulted yet. You want to hold your ult at the very least until they have ulted theirs. And once they use theirs, which sometimes, you know, you want to poke and prod at them to actually get those out. Once you get theirs out, then you can do whatever you want. You should know, as a Cloak and Dagger main, for example, your ult can actually counter Hela. Your ult or your M2 ability as Cloak and Dagger can counter Iron Man, so forth and so on. There's so many of these little tricks in the game. Number four is going to be push and pull. So for example, let's say you're doing extremely well, you take out some of the supports, you're going to naturally push forward. But very oftentimes, especially with tanks, it's really hard. And I think this is why comms are so important in the game, but we'll get to that later. When you're a tank, it's so hard to know if your team's behind you because very oftentimes you're on the front lines and you don't have a mirror looking behind you. So you have to know when to push and when to pull. If you hear Hela unleash, maybe you want to push back unless you have somebody else healing you through it, like a Mantis or Luna ult, and you can just kind of run around and stay alive for a little bit. But just keep that in mind. You want to know when to push. You want to know when to pull. When the enemy team is ulting heavy, you want to start pulling back a little bit. Just start retreating. In that attack and retreat, you start retreating there. Whenever you hear that little, by the way, this is an audio cue that you can also put in the game. When your teammates die and when your teammates get a kill, there are specific sounds that you guys can add in the game. It's in the settings menu. I'll show you where that is as well here. But just keep in mind, when you hear kerplunk, 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 3 of them, 2 of them, 3, if it's one of your supports, if your supports are dead, start moving back. And that's why I, as a support, I always like to announce when I'm dead so my team knows, play a little softer, you know? It's very hard. It's very hectic. There's a lot going on. Once we all get more hours, I'm sure we'll all do better with this, but sometimes it's a little hard. It's a little chaotic. You have 3 Luna ults going off at once because Loki also did it and you're having a seizure. It's okay. We're all getting better. We're all learning, all right? We're all not the goats at this game. Stand in the ult and you won't die, I promise. Oh my god, everybody died. So no one stood in the ult, I guess. Number 5, greeting kills. You have to be so careful not to overstep. Sometimes we want to kill so badly, we just end up dying ourselves. And now keep in mind, when you're greeting a kill, depending on what position you are, right? If you're greeting a kill and you're going too far into the enemy lines and then you end up getting killed, or you're a support and then you go a little too far, now your teammate's not getting the support they need, and then maybe you die. Keep in mind, when you die, you have to wait 10 seconds before you come back to life. And then after the 10 seconds, you then sometimes, let's say your Hela is going to take you 10 business years to come back. It's going to take you about 15 seconds to probably walk back to the point. That's 25 seconds of you being useless to your team. Don't get me wrong. We're all useless at times. It happens. But if you're a support, 25 seconds of no healing is huge for the enemy team. Keep that in mind. Your life is sacred. Try to keep that bad boy alive if you can. Number 6 is going to be comms. There is an 8-wheel ping that is really good that you can go into the settings and change out and whatnot. But comms, even if you're just typing, comms. If you're talking, you're the go. As long as you're not saying some crazy shit, bro, and bringing down that energy vibe. Such low damage that I didn't quite figure it out. Watch, you guys are a little bit off to the side. I can't see you and heal you over there. Be careful.
Oh my fucking god, nigga, I'm gonna kill myself!
What the fuck was that, bro? That man not real. We're losing this one, John. That's already GG. Comes.
Healing you, fucking pussy. Get in.
We were just relax, bro. Calm your titties, bro. It's all right. Calm down. It's a video game, brother.
Bro, what's not happening?
My God, you're so extra, bro. No friends in the face ass. Oh my God, you're so annoying, bro. Oh my God. We're winning, stupid. What are you talking about? You know, that vibe of the team. I hate it when I get a freaking a nerd that just wants to like kind of ruin the vibe of the team. But comms are so important, especially when I play support. I'm the biggest yapper in the group. The amount of games that I feel like we've won simply because I'm, you know, just trying to communicate as much as I can. When I'm, for example, if I'm playing Cloak and Dagger, I'm telling my team, hey, there's a bubble on the point for you right there. Tanks, go off. I got you. There's a bubble over here. By the way, I have a full Cloak and Dagger guide as well. It will also be linked up above if you guys want to check it out, as well as the different alt audios for both teams. Both of those will be linked. I have a full video on all the different alt sounds as well. But sorry, back to the video. Comms. There are so many times as a support, I'll say, hey, listen, I'm dead. You guys should fall back, or you're down to support. Keep that in mind. Maybe play a little bit softer. I'll tell them, hey, I have a bubble for you on point. I'll give my team the confidence that they need to say, oh, I can keep pushing. I could keep being aggressive. I'm being pocketed by the healer right now, right? Or the support. Keep that in mind. If you have open comms with your teams, they can play so much differently, especially your tanks, again, who, you know, easily are not seeing half of the field, right? As a supporter, you get to see everybody. You get to see the person flanking to the left, person flanking to the right, the people beating your ass behind you. The tanks don't always get that viewpoint. And if you have good DPS, you know, they can help the tank so much. But you as the support are really, it feels like you are the anchor for the team. So if you have good comms, I promise you, you're going to save. Also, you just should have good comms with the rest of the team, no matter what position you are, right? But that's when I really like to speak the most, is when I am support. Number 7 is going to be keep track of deaths, with the tab and settings page for enemy sounds. So, for example, you could just press the tab button. I don't know what it is for console. I'm so sorry. But if you press that tab button on PC, you can easily see, oh, shoot, they're down 2 supports. Oh, shoot, we're down 2 supports. Let's fall back a little bit. There's so many times, again, it all goes back to that push and pull mechanic, that attack and retreat. If you're paying attention to that, you'll be way better off, and ultimately you're going to survive a lot more knowing when you should wait for your team. The last thing you want to do is stagger in and kind of get demolished. It's not the greatest look. So keep track of the deaths, not only with the sounds and the kill feed on the top right. You could also just press tab and see. It'll even tell you the enemy team's coming back in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. This person is getting respawned in. So keep that in mind. Number 8 is going to be feeding ults. Keep in mind if your team, I've been saying a lot of keep in mind, I'm sorry. But keep in mind if your team has a Penny, if your team has maybe a Venom, tanks that don't have shields or any sort of really good protection, that the enemy team might be, they might just be getting their ults a lot. And now that means also if your supports are doing well, your supports should be getting their ults a lot if they're healing the bejesus out of these tanks, right? And there's nothing wrong with this, but it's just something to note. If you have a Star-Lord on the enemy team, by the way, I got it wrong. It's not, I thought it was legendary. It's legendary, all right? He says legendary when he's on the enemy team, all right? So keep in mind, if you keep hearing legendary, he might just be farming his ult off of your tanks, which is fine. Listen, everybody has their role. It's going to happen. It's just part of the game. But keep that in mind, that you should be tracking, right, how often these people are getting their ults. Why are they getting it so quickly? And then adjust to that, back to that push and pull mechanic. That's why I personally love playing Groot so much. I also do like playing Magneto as well. I'm not the greatest Strange, but I do want to get better with him over time. But so far, those are my top 2 tanks. Number 9 is crowd control. Now, I just want to add this in here for myself, because when I'm playing Cloak and Dagger, my lord, it is the bane of my existence to get rid of every squid, every penny mine, every Groot wall known to man. Just keep in mind, as a team, if everyone collectively just turns their head, gets rid of it, it's gone, right? If we just keep in mind, if you're going against a Groot, let's start from here. If you're going against Groot and you keep overstepping and Groot keeps walling you off, right? Just keep that in mind. Then you might die. Your healers might not be able to actually protect you. So just know it might be a little bit of your own fault if you die a little bit. If you go around corners as well, whatever. But keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you're going to probably take a lot of excess damage if you're not getting rid of Penny's Mines, Moon Knight's Unk, right? I would love for teams to be a little bit more better with reacting to a lot of these situations. I'll see a lot of times a Hela just fly over. I literally saw a Hela fly over a Groot wall, land on the other side, and get demolished. What? Why? Why are we here? At least get rid of the wall, and then I could heal you past it. But just keep in mind, all these CCs everywhere, you have to keep track of it. You have to remember Groot can be one of the hardest to go against when it comes to the CC or the crowd control that you're dealing with. And do not get walled off. If anything, wait for a moment where he's used his walls. We get rid of it. We move forward a little by little as a team. But don't get walled off if he hasn't used all of his walls. Keep that in mind. Know his cooldowns. You have to know how to prepare for that. Know if Penny's mines are a bit of a problem. Somebody should probably maybe flank, get in there, or sometimes I'll let my tank go in and I'll burst heal him as much as I can so he could get rid of Penny's mines, so forth and so on. But as a team collectively, if we all do it, we could get rid of it, and it's a lot less lethal, and then maybe we could even push the enemy team to switch to a different character. Number 10 is going to be attack the squishies. All right, that's myself included. I'm a squishy main, but attack the squishies. So many times, what I'll do a lot is I'll pretend sometimes as Groot to go after a tank, push him away. I don't know, maybe he flies somewhere, and then I'll pivot immediately to one of the supports, one of the DPS, right? I try to bother them, because if I'm bothering the supports at that point, if I'm walling them off in certain maps, a lot of times I'll wall off the supports completely as Groot, and then just force death on the squishies. Because the problem is, if I'm fighting a tank and he's just getting healed, let's say I'm Groot and I'm fighting another Groot. If I'm just fighting him over and over and over, and he has 2 supports in his pocket, it is the dumbest battle of all time. So occasionally when I can, I'll throw a wall behind a squishy, put a wall in front of the squishy, keep them blocked off for a little bit. So they either have to take a long way around, or it's going to take them a little bit longer to get around the wall, especially again, if it's a cloak and dagger. Go for the squishies. It's great if you have 30,000 damage. Congratulations. But it means nothing if you're not getting kills, if you're not really aiding your team in pushing forward, moving that momentum forward. So keep that in mind. Kill the squishies. Number 11 is going to be counter the counter, the counter, the counter, the counter, right? So when you're going against an enemy team, keep this in mind. You are a freaking, I don't know, freaking Squirrel Girl mains. My Lord, please. I get so many of them, and more often than not, they're not the greatest. And it's okay. We're all learning. But damn, if Squirrel Girl isn't working, just maybe switch, you know? Or let's say myself, maybe I'm playing Groot, right? Maybe I'm playing Groot and I'm having a great game, and all of a sudden, freaking Wolverine comes in and starts tearing my cheeks apart. What do? I probably switch to Magneto. I probably switch to Penny. I also don't mind playing Penny on defense, never on attack. Lord, please, all the attack pennies. I'm sorry, this is a side rant. But we'll make it, I'm going to make this an extra point at the end. Hold on, attack penny. Hold on, I'm adding this to the list. But let's say I'm playing Groot, and if it's not going my way, I might switch to, let's say, Magneto, so that when Wolverine actually tries to jump me, tries to steal me, I can bubble myself. Even having Hulk to bubble yourself is not as bad. Having Strange, he could fly up into the air and away, so forth and so on. You might want to use a different character. Or, for example, you have other situations where, let's say you have an Iron Man in the air, no one is really hit scan. You have a lot of people that are projectile. The difference between the two, if you don't know, guys, this is just for my non-gamer gamers, I guess. But if you don't know, projectile literally has to travel inside the game. Let's say Hawkeye is projectile. His arrows literally traveling from his freaking his bow all the way to that person, to the other hero that he's trying to kill, right? Whereas, so in-game travel time, the bullet, the projectile has to go in-game and travel across the screen. Whereas hit scan is, I'm Hela, I put my little crosshair over your head. When I hit M1, you die. That's it. That's the difference. So when we have an Iron Man in the air, and unfortunately I got a Bucky trying to hit that man, or, you know, it's like, all right, maybe we get a little hit scan to get this man out of the air. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable switching. And I pray that, you know, people get a little bit more comfortable, play outside of their comfort. Get to Hela, bro. Just touch Hela a little bit, or any other hit scan that could take them out of the air. So keep that in mind. Counter the counter. And then if they switch again, you might also have to switch. So just keep that in mind. Number 12 is going to be learn everything about your main. And when I say learn, I mean everything, bro. Every single thing. So for example, Cloak and Dagger. I know every single hero that I can counter with my M2 ability as Cloak. Every hero that I could counter my ult with, as well with Cloak and Dagger. Every single thing. If I get pushed, what do I do? If I get pushed as Cloak and Dagger versus tanks, I know I'm running for my life unless those tanks are actually half health maybe, or if somebody else is with me attacking them, right? I know I can stand my ground, but I know if Thor is coming at me full tilt, I'm out of there. I'm going to throw my bubble at my feet maybe for a second, and I'm just going to run away. Hopefully I have some sort of exit that I can get to, something that makes sense. But I'm not going to fight, for example, Bucky, who could pull me out of my bubble. A lot of times when I start an engagement, I throw my bubble on my feet as Dagger, and I switch to Cloak and I start the fight, right? But if I'm playing against Bucky, if I'm playing against a good Iron Fist, that might be a bit of a problem for me. There's a lot that won't be a problem, but know who counters you. Know who are your, now this is a hard out. I got to get up out of here. This is not a good fight for me. How do you run away? How do you escape? How do you engage? What is the perfect distance you want to fight in, right? So if you're Hawkeye, you don't want to be in somebody's face. You want to be a little further away versus let's say if you're Wolverine, you're obviously going to be in someone's face. Do you have a DPS that is a more flanking style, or is your DPS more of a poke style, right? So are you going to flank behind the team as Psylocke, or are you going to shoot from afar and try to get some pokes as Hela? So yeah, learn as much as you can about your mains because it's so important. You don't want to try to learn on the fly. There's plenty of videos. For example, I have one currently about Cloak and Dagger if you guys want to check that one out. Also, I will be making one in the future of Groot as well. Every counter, the best way to play them, etc. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of that in the future too. Number 13 is going to be the most simple thing ever, and hope most of you have done it, but there's a practice range, Go to the practice range, check it out, go in there and test your character, get the muscle memory on the things that you want to do with your character, whether it's Black Panther, whether it's Cloak and Dagger, whether whomever it is. You'll learn a lot. I've learned so much going into the practice range and just messing around. There's even a shooting range within the practice range that allows you to work on your aim a little bit, change your DPI on your mouse, and then maybe change the sensitivity inside the game in there. And you'll see, oh, okay, well, I need this sensitivity for this character. It needs to be this low, but maybe if I'm playing a Black Panther, I put it a little bit higher. You can test and mess around with so many things in the practice range. I implore you to check it out, please. Number 14 is going to be use natural cover and know your exits. So use natural cover in particular. This is obviously going to be way more for the tank as well as the DPS. It's really for everyone, right? But a lot of times in particular, my tanks will not use cover. They'll think that I can just completely heal him from getting, destroyed by 6 heroes on the other team. I can't. It's impossible. So give your supports an opportunity to actually heal you. Take a little bit of cover. If you're pushing that convoy forward, you're pushing those, the goat, the rams, giraffes, whatever convoy, make sure you use that convoy to take some space, to actually cover you, allow your team. Again, this is part of that attack and retreat, that push and that pull. If you're taking too much damage, check. You probably are way too far forward. You're probably not playing any corners, any walls where you're just standing out in front. And sometimes you have no choice. And I totally understand that. But sometimes you do. And when you do, you have to kind of push and pull with that. Know if your DPS, if they pick somebody off, okay, cool. Maybe now we could push a little bit more. And now because of that, there's one less person shooting at you. Now you can maybe move forward, right? Keep that in mind. That using of cover is so important. I always, when I play Groot, I try to push forward. It's not a perfect system. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. It happens. I get it. We all been there. But what I try to do is I try to step forward as much as I can, do my attacks, wall people off, go for the squishies, etc. But the moment it feels like I'm taking a little bit too much damage, I really try my best to actually step back, take some cover, give my healers an opportunity to fully top me off, pause, and give me the health that I need so that I can get back into the fight. Remember, if you die, it's for 10 seconds. And then when I'm walking back with Groot, it's 20 business years. It'll take me 25 seconds to get back into the fight. 25 seconds of no tank is really, really detrimental to the team. Keep that in mind. Use that cover. Know your exits. Sometimes in the beginning of a fight, it might be a little bit difficult. You don't know how your supports are going to play. Exactly right. Like they might pay attention to you. They might not at all. They might go completely Rambo and just leave you to die. So keep in mind that might also happen. They might be getting jumped in the back as well. This is where good communication comes into play, but you'll do great. And this actually plays right into number 15 as well, which is going to be keep line of sight on your healers. Make sure, just know this, guys. If Groot is walling you off, if you're going around the corner, they're not going to be able to heal you. I try my best as Cloak and Dagger because their heals do bounce off of walls, but just keep in mind, sometimes you can't do anything about it. Again, this also goes back into maybe you're greeting a little bit, maybe you're overstepping, overextending. I've been there plenty. I literally did it last night on stream. I got destroyed. And it happens. But these are the mistakes. The beauty is that we have VODs. We can fix this. But keep line of sight on your healers. Consistently try your best to look back. Notice if you're getting healed. Notice if you're not. Start falling back. If it feels like something's going on here, maybe communicate a little bit. All right, team. So when I'm playing Groot, I try my best to really say, hey, listen, I'm going to try to push the point. So just keep an eye on me really quick if you can. I try to say it in a way where hopefully I'm being nice, I'm being sweet. I'm not trying to like overstep, but I almost never actually ask for heals. Very oftentimes because I just don't want to be annoying. Very oftentimes what I'll do is I'll literally walk to my support and stand in front of them to get the heal, because they have a lot of things going on. They have 1,000 different health bars. Somebody maybe you're not paying attention to in front of you they're critical. They're about to die and they're trying to get them, or they were just getting pushed, or they heard a sound to the left, or they just got their hot pocket. I don't know, but I just try to put myself in front of that person so that I can try my best not to die. Keep that in mind. Yo, $1 million to whoever counts how many times I said keep that in mind. Number 16, and I feel like I've been saying this a lot, but know your role. Know your effective range where your character does the best. For example, this is the epiphany that I was saying the other day. So the other day I had a game at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I went on the craziest losing streak of my life. And I was just like, yo, what is it? What's going on? I don't understand. And I was playing Cloak and Dagger, and I think I played them pretty well. But there was something that I wasn't accounting for, is I guess a little bit of my own arrogance. I think I get 20,000, 30,000 plus healing. My best game healing ever was like 51,000 or something like that. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm doing great. But the numbers don't always tell the full story. That's the problem, right? So in this one game, I actually ended up getting out positioning myself so badly. I was in and I'll show it here on the screen. I was out positioned so badly that I was ineffective for my team for entirely too long. And this encounter showed me the broader picture that, my Lord, if I'm away for a millisecond, my team dies. I swear. If I switch to Cloak, if I cough on Cloak for a second, if I have a brain fart, if I don't switch immediately back, I swear to you, my whole team dies. So I've learned, as much as I like being in Cloak, this was not a Cloak situation. This is me just out positioning myself and being horrible for a moment. I'll be honest. It was really bad. We still won the game, by the way. We still destroyed them. The other team actually started talking crap. It was like, yo, Cloak and Dagger is the reason why y'all lost that round, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I came back and I had a game. And those people that were talking smack, I deadass killed them a couple times. But I need to know, kind of what I was saying before, know your effective range, right? Know that you want to stay out of line of sight. You don't, as a support, really want to be in the thick of it. You want to go unnoticed. You want to go unchecked, right? You want to keep your teammates fully healed. A lot of times I will deal with people that flank, when it makes sense, but I'm doing it a lot less now. Now my role is more so, hey, I call it out to my teammates. DPS is more expendable than supports are. So I would say, hey guys, one of the DPS, can you get this mofo up top? Now I will push somebody if we're already winning a fight, So if we just killed 3 people, I might push that one guy up top who's just bothering and nobody's gotten him yet, sure. But I have to know that my role as support, and you know what it is? I think I've seen a lot of videos, and I'm sure all of you have as well. Don't be a heal bot, but don't also be this. So you got to find it. You got to find that what makes the most sense to you. And I think this epiphany that I got a couple nights ago is the reason why I just made it to Diamond. I was playing too much Cloak and sometimes not playing my most effective range, not playing my most effective play style even. So find what makes the most sense. Give those good comms to your team. Make sure that you're playing and healing your tanks well enough that they never play afraid, that they don't play scared, because if you do that, you're essentially going to have a front line who's just too terrified to really work. Those comms actually come in huge too. So just know, as much as I have a good time and I have had some good clips of like chasing people down, just know you should play with your team. If you have a Moon Knight, just know you probably shouldn't be on top of your team because you're going to get destroyed in a second. Play a little bit further back. Play angles a little bit more. And if you get flanked, call it out to your team. You can also protect yourself pretty well with Cloak and Daggers, so forth and so on. So know your role. Know your role in whatever role it is. But for me, that was my epiphany. As silly as it sounds. I think I was doing well, and I would only sometimes die like 3 times in a freaking 20-minute match. But it doesn't tell the full scope of the story, you know? Sometimes you're like, oh my God, what is it? Is it this teammate? Is it that? No, sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's you. And I think in this occasion, it was actually me. Number 17 it will be a quick one, but sync your ults. I've had some really good encounters where I actually sync my ult with my teammates, and we end up getting this amazing Groot ult with an Iron Man ult, and we just kill everybody in the area. Sync your ults. There's so many good ones that you can sync together to ultimately kill the enemy team. Groot and Moon Knight is also a really good one. Groot and Namor also have a good one that they can do together as well. A lot of big damage, pulls them all together. I had an enemy team that did a really good job of constantly syncing their ults, and they did a lot of damage. As well as syncing your ults, know really when to use your ults. I mean, I've wasted so many ults before, not only by fat fingering, but also just doing it in moments where it wasn't maybe absolutely necessary. You know, sometimes, especially as support, it's very chaotic. You don't want to use it too early, and then you don't want to use it too late. When I say you really need the greatest sweet spot in the world, you do. When it comes to Groot, if you do it too early, you'll just end up completely, you know, getting healed through it. They'll heal through it, or Strange will block it, etc. So many. Typically, I really like to grab squishies with it, but if I have to, I'll use it earlier as well. Don't also hold on to your ult for 10 years. Keep that in mind as well, especially as a support. You get it back so freaking fast. So use your ults when you have them, but don't underutilize them as well. Number 18 is going to be play all the roles. Play every role, play tank, play DPS, play support, play as many characters as you can. Learn about as many characters as you can. The more you learn about the game, the more you play the other roles, the more you'll have a better understanding. For example, I have about 5,000 hours in Dead by Daylight. That's absolutely absurd, I know. But I have about 5,000 hours in Dead by Daylight. There's 30-something killers in the game, and then there's like a bunch of survivors. The more of the killers that you play, the more you know how to go against them as well. It was a big thing, obviously, in DBD. If you play as them, you'll know how to go against them. You'll know their full kit better. So I've played almost every character in the game, even if it's just in the practice range. I've tested, I've used all of them, I've read. If you press F1 on mouse and keyboard, you can see all their abilities, all their team ups, everything that exists in the game. It's just really good to get a full comprehension on how to play the game better, how to go against people better. And maybe you're not the greatest DPS, and that's okay, bro. You might be the best support, the best tank in the game. I'll be honest, me not coming from any hero shooter ever, I really thought I'm gonna stay in freaking, what's it called? I'm gonna ball out on DPS. Psych, cloak and dagger, man. I had no idea I was gonna be a cloak and freaking dagger main, dude. But also sometimes you have to fill DPS. I'll be honest, and my DPS ain't that nice. The other day, I was playing tank, and I swear I just wasn't getting crazy heals, and my supports made me play scared. I couldn't move forward. I couldn't do anything. So I ended up asking if somebody wanted to switch with me. Our DPS wasn't doing that great, so we switched. And guess what? It was immaculate. So you have to be ready. I ended up playing Hela. You have to be ready to play any position. Know a couple from every single role that you can actually play, at least moderately. Know what's needed in every composition as well. Know what you have to play against. But playing all the roles, knowing when you play as support and then you see people run around corners, don't break group walls, it makes more sense in the future. Telling you, once you play a flanking Psylocke, you're like, oh, wow. My team doesn't realize how much I'm doing, but I'm doing so much. I'm disrupting their backline. I'm beating up their supports. So now my tanks get to beat up their tanks, and they're not getting healed anymore. You know, play every single role. Watch videos of it, if anything. But I think getting a hands-on experience, go to quick play. Don't go straight to rank and do it, right? Go to quick play and do it, and I promise you, you'll open up your eyes to a lot of the game. Number 19 is going to be pay attention to the enemy ults. For example, if you haven't seen By the Eye of Agamotto, if you haven't seen that in a while, just know it's probably coming soon. If you ever get a Strange just walking up to the point, you know, haphazardly by himself, guaranteed. Get behind a tank who might have a shield. Get next to Cloak and Dagger. As Cloak, I'm very oftentimes preparing myself for that. If I hear a teleport on top of my head, I know for a fact Agamotto is coming to beat my ass. So there's 2 ults, for example, as Cloak and Dagger, that you have to be in Cloak, as Cloak already, in order to counter it. The first one is Eye of Agamotto, and the second one is Spider-Man. Those 2, you have to be ready. You can get away from a lot of other people not being 100% ready. Iron Man is the easiest one. Maximum, he gives you 10 business years to get ready for it. But a lot of them, you have to be ready for it. So if you have something to counter it, great. If you don't, this is when that push and that pull comes back in, right? Let him have the point for half a second. You know, Eye of Agamotto is coming. Stay next to your Magneto. Hopefully he blocks it accordingly. Get ready to pop your support ult if you have to, so forth and so on. A lot of times also, if he pops it on my teammates and I'm not there, I will use my Q, my ult as Cloak and Dagger to actually save my team and heal them through all that damage. So keep that in mind as well. It's not always going to be perfect. Sometimes you're not there. Sometimes you were just getting beamed by somebody else in the back, so you didn't see him. Number 20 is going to be stay on point. So whatever that is, just know what the objective is at first, okay? So, for example, if it's a domination map, just know you have to stand on top of the freaking point in order to get it, right? A lot of times you'll see teammates jump off and not actually obtain the point. So stay on the point when you can. Obviously, if you can, I get it. The team that stays on the point first in domination is typically going to have a lot of progress made. So it'll be really advantageous if you guys can get a couple of picks in the beginning of the match to then actually get that point on domination. That first point on it is very, very important. You can still lose the whole game, even if you got it to 99. It happened to me the other day. I don't know how we lost, but it's very important to do so. Just keep that in mind. And especially when it comes to moving the point, let's say you're doing a convoy mission, whatever it is, whether you're on the little rams or that black sperm on the floor, just keep in mind, you have to stay on it in order for it to move faster. I think it caps out at 4 people is from what I understand. So if you have 4 of you guys and you can, spend some time on it to progress that forward to get to the next checkpoint, it's huge. Those few meters, inches, centimeters that you get every single time you're pushing that thing forward is so important, especially if you're not really doing anything else. Let's say you just team wiped it, push it forward. Everybody push forward a little bit, and then maybe, push, step forward to defend afterwards if you want to. But don't forget, staying on the point is the whole point. The kills are important too, but the point is the most important piece. And sometimes if you go off too far, you greeting kills, you're forgetting what your objective is. That can sometimes be a problem. Number 21, and it's actually the reason I became a group main on top of, as well as a Cloak and Dagger main, is swap positions. You'd be surprised, you'd be shocked to see how many times you can actually win a game simply by swapping positions. Just like the other day when I had to play Hela, when I felt like I wasn't getting too much good support as group, Maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't playing well. Maybe I didn't mesh that well with that support group and the way that they play, their play style or something. I don't know what it is. But there are times that you have to switch it up. There was also a time where I actually was playing support and we were getting smoked completely. So I think for the first time ever, I ended up playing Groot in competitive. I played him a couple times in quick play, probably 3 matches worth. And I was like, okay, he's fun. That one match, once I switched to Groot, they did not move forward anymore. There was this nice little choke point. One of the best places to play Groot, if I do say so myself. Groot guide coming in the future, by the way. But there was one of these best places where you could play Groot. Me swapping in that moment and my teammates swapping in various games. There was a Punisher the other day telling us, yo, what is going on? I'm getting dove on every time, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you're Punisher, sure, I'm a support. I was playing close and I'm trying to heal him, but he's just dying. I think he didn't have good positioning. I don't think he was using his shotgun that well. He was about 9 and 12 or something. And by the end of the game, he switched to Psylocke, and he was about 40-something and 12. I think we're good here.
Being dived on, bro. I need help.
Oh, Jesus. Holy fuck, dude. What the fuck am I even watching?
Bro, I'm just being dived on, bro. I need help, my team. Like, holy shit. I'm being solo dived on like the last 4 or 5 lives.
I'm dead there. Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, he's the Punisher? Bro, maybe switch off a pun, bro. It might not be it. The same time you're getting pushed, everybody kind of getting pushed too. And if you play a little too far from the healers, it's kind of hard to heal you, big dog, to be honest. Like, I got pushed a bunch of times by Thor, Psylocke, etc. And they just push us so far back that it separates us.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment.
Yeah. It also might be maybe play somebody that's like a little bit more, you know, that works a little bit better against the dives, maybe. I don't know. Win a 1v1. Damn.
I was so close to my hole again, bro.
Jid, look how crazy you did after that. Good switch, bro. When I tell you he just completely popped off, sometimes it's just you. You know? Like, your team could help as much as they can, but also there might be 1,000 other. I think we were getting dove on as well. There was like a Spider-Man and a Venom or something. I don't recall, but swap your position. Swap out your characters. You're probably just playing the wrong one. Number 22, apparently, because here we are. Rewatch your VODs. Not only your wins, watch your losses. And ask yourself, why did I die here? Could I have played this better? Is it just, sometimes it's just going to be your team. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes you're just going to have an attack penny, and that's just going to happen, right? But rewatch your VODs and ask yourself, was I outpositioned? Was I not hearing? Oh my God, I can hear the enemy footsteps now. What the heck's going on? Well, how did I not hear that? Was I pushing forward when my whole team was dead? Rewatch and ask yourself, what could you have done better? Because there's always something that you, in fact, can do better. What is it? What is it you could do better? I don't know. Figure it out, though. There's something there, I promise you. Maybe it's something from this list here. Maybe you stepped too far as a tank. You couldn't get heals. Maybe you greeted a kill. Maybe you just died too much to getting dove on. Maybe you had to switch your character completely. Maybe the enemy team got so many ults and you were just never tracking it. Who knows? But go back, check out this list again, and maybe is there something on this list that made you die so much? The last thing, and Lord have mercy, this is just for my own sanity. Lord help me, please. Attack pennies. Why? And listen, I might get a lot of hated for this in the comments, and I accept all criticism. I'm learning just like everybody else is learning. But my God, the amount of attack pennies I've had. By the way, if you don't understand what I'm trying to say is, so on convoy missions, when there's attack and defend, penny defending is great. The enemy is literally running into you. So when you put down your mines and a lot of your traps and all that, it's superb. I've had so many great penny matches. I love them. They're fun. You can grab people up 1,000 times. I've held a lot of people, but when you're playing attack, it's a different game. Your mines are not as useful. Now, sometimes they can be. I'm not going to say there aren't those cases where attack penny sometimes works out. I would honestly say of the millions that I've had, 2. I'm not even joking. It's like Doctor Strange. How many? There's 14 million outcomes, and all of those we win 1. That's who you are. And respectfully, I love you. I love you dearly. Some of the attack pennies who have switched, thank you, Lord Jesus. Sometimes we'll have an attack penny. They'll switch, and then we'll start winning almost every time. So attack pennies is just not as good. Your mines don't work as well, especially if the other team doesn't even have a dive composition, right? They don't have Black Panthers, Wolverines, Magics pushing the back line or anything like that on attack. You don't even have anything. No one's walking forward. They're like, oh, I see your mines. I'm good. In the other case, they have to. You're defending the point. They have to attack what you're defending. Please, no more attack pennies in 2025. Lord, please. Guys, I'm actually going on vacation for a week. I'm so sad. So I'm going to miss the beginning of the new season, but I will be back January 16th. So I'll probably be back next Friday, January 17th. I love you guys. I hope this was informative. I hope it helps. And if it didn't, I'm so sorry, but I hope it did. If you ever want to catch the streams live, I'll be live on twitch.tv/Adonsaurus. I might even stream live on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for the love on the last few posts. I can't thank you guys enough. Much love to you. Let's get these dubs, baby.